This is Beyond the Truth.
What's up, guys? It's Brother Sin coming at you with another episode of Beyond the Truth. Pretty excited here on a Friday. We're 10 days out from Christmas, which is always exciting, especially when you're a father of small children like myself. The Christmas season basically starts around October 31st when the trick-or-treat costumes come off. And then the next 2 months, it's just decorations and cookies and shopping and Christmas programs and Christmas movies on TV and ugly Christmas sweaters. And the whole thing is just a lot of fun, especially with small children. It's much more of an extravaganza. So I'm loving every minute of that. Wanted to get with you guys today, talk about a few things. One, we have a pretty darn good UFC card coming up tomorrow night, a fight night that I want to go over some of those fights with you and just talk a little bit. Also want to talk a little bit more about the nutrition and training challenge / case study I'm going to be running with a lot of you listeners here on the 1st of January. For that month, so I'm pretty excited about that and just want to talk a little bit more in detail on it, not too much. And then I wanted to lead with some pretty cool breaking news, I think. So, speaking with the Godfather and got the idea of, since the fact that I go to so many events, both Bellator and UFC, and we've got this very successful podcast and we're trying to grow it into something more significant, something more legitimate and, widespread. I have applied. I've got some friends in the media, different outlets, radio and so forth, have applied and have now got press credentials for some of the upcoming fights. So I'm very excited about that. The first one that I will be going to with press credentials, I'll be hitting the weigh-ins and media day and that kind of stuff, is the Bellator. I believe it's 192 in LA, the card with Douglas Lima, Rory McDonald, and more importantly for myself and for a lot of us listeners, Mr. Chael Sonnen versus Rampage Jackson to kick off the heavyweight Grand Prix. So I thought that was pretty cool. I thought you guys might be pretty excited about that. I'm going to be trying to line up some interviews with some people, try and catch a few sound bites, be there again for media day and the weigh-ins, and just bring some real solid, legitimate content to all you that listen to us on a regular basis. And again, as we're constantly growing our audience, as the stats are showing, this is going to help propel us even farther and make us more mainstream. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm also going to be doing some print articles for some of the local papers around here based on, my experiences at these events. Because though that's very mainstream now, getting there to be a top-tier sport, MMA, still a lot of the smaller market papers and so forth don't do a lot to cover mixed martial arts. They don't do a lot to cover the UFC other than some of the big-time events like the original Madison Square Garden card and the Conor McGregor fights and so forth. It's not something that's really covered, again, on the smaller market level. So hopefully by branching out and providing some content to some of these papers and so forth, we'll help gain a little presence, a little more notoriety for the sport that we all love so much, and, just see what comes of it. So again, I'm very, very excited about that, and just adds even more fuel to the fire for my anticipation of heading out to LA in a few weeks for the Bellator card. So just thought you guys would be excited. So I wanted to share that news. So next, the weight loss / nutrition / training study that we're going to do for the month of January. So we had some great interest right out of the gates, and I appreciate all you guys. Again, I got like 50 messages in the first 2 to 3 minutes about people that wanted to jump on board, wanted to be one of the first 5. And again, we're going to expand that a good bit and go well beyond the 5 because we had such interest. So here's what we're going to do. So in the next few days, next week up until Christmas, I'm going to have some time off from my businesses, spend some time home with the family. But I am going to put together a spreadsheet. First, I'm going to put together we call it an intake form. As a trainer nutritionist, every new client we have fill out an intake form. It's going to tell us where you're at physically, emotionally, stat-wise, height, weight, if you know anything about your body composition, blood pressure, that kind of stuff, just to give us kind of a starting point, a square one, so we know where we're at the beginning. And then, some goals, some things like that, what you really hope to get out of both this month-long program as well as long-term changes in your habits. So I'm going to be sending that out to all the people participating, and once I get that back, we'll take that info and we'll compile it into a big spreadsheet, and then I'm going to be sending out both a tracker for everybody to use to keep track. Hopefully everybody's got access to a scale, and if not, I'll ask everybody to go out and get one. Anywhere from $10 to the $700+ model that Mr. Sonnen carries with him to every fight. So anywhere in between, but something to be able to help measure our progress on a day-to-day basis, a week-to-week basis. So a tracker will be provided to keep track of nutrition, what you're inputting in your body, your caloric output via workouts and so forth, your sleep patterns, and all that kind of good stuff. Everything that's pertinent to the study, you guys will want to track and mark down. And again, we are going to get together via Facebook group during the month a few different times, and we'll have group chat, and we'll go over all that kind of stuff. We're going to do some live video chat so you guys can ask questions, talk about your progress, and make sure that it all goes smoothly. I will also be sending out, obviously, in enough time to prepare, at least a week ahead, both the nutrition plans for the groups, what I'm asking you guys to stick to. Again, as I'd mentioned before, it may be a little unorthodox. It may be completely different than anything you've done. It may not be something that's completely appealing to you at first glance, but I promise you it will be effective, or it should be effective should you follow the guidelines and adhere strictly. But enough time for you to kind of digest that and kind of see what we're doing with it. And the shopping list, the meals, the recipes are very simple, cooking instructions, so nothing like that's out of the ordinary. But I'm going to be sending all that to you guys, so you'll have all that. You'll have the workout plan. It's pretty much a 6-day-a-week program. Obviously not everybody can fit that in. We all have different schedules, different lives, but there will be a program outlined for 6 of the days of the week. So as much of that you can get in will help your cause through the month. So I'm going to be sending all that to you guys, give you enough time to answer any questions, provide feedback, make sure we're all clear on where we're going through the month. And again, the big thing, the shopping list that comes with the meal plan, it is pretty specific and it's all intentional. There's not going to be any fluff in there. There's not a lot of stuff just on there to be on there. Just about everything in each meal, each day, each week, every ingredient has a purpose. And I'll be glad to answer any questions when I send that out, because I'm sure some people have it and they may not know where to get some of the stuff, and I'll put on there as much as I can where I advise to get it as far as being the cheapest and the most readily available, whether it be Amazon or your local Sprouts Market or Whole Food. So I'll be providing all that. But again, it's very intentional. Every ingredient is intentional. Every ingredient has a purpose for the process of your body. And it'll make sense. When you get it, it'll make sense. And hopefully it'll help you understand that this is a kickstart. This is not meant to be something that we're going to want to do every day, every week, every month of every year. But this is a kickstart into health. And again, it'll all make sense. So that will all be coming to you guys here in the next week or so. So look forward to that. I'll be gathering email addresses from you all, via the fan page and so forth. So excited about that, and I hope you guys are too. So let's get to this USC card, and we will cover a few of the big fights. It's going to be a hot one. So I'll just go over. We'll go over 5 of them, the 5 main fights. So we've got a light heavyweight fight to start off the card. Jared Cannonier, the Killa Gorilla, coming in at 10-2. Most recently off a win over Nick Rorick. Prior to that, lost to Glover Teixeira and had some up and down fights. But most recently coming off that loss. He's the number 14, taking on number 15, Jan Blachowicz, Polish name. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so I'm probably butchering that. But he's coming off of a win over Darren Clark. Prior to that, he lost to the Toothless Wonder, Pat Cummins, and then a loss to Alexander Gustafsson. But still fighting there in the top 15. Should be a pretty good contest. They're both very similar in strikes landed. Blachowicz does have a bit of a height advantage by 3 inches. But stat-wise, skill-wise, very similar. Jan is very well-rounded, good grappling game, great with Muay Thai. And Jared Cannonier, also good striker, great boxing, and good footwork, good speed. So that's going to be a pretty good fight. That's, 14 versus 15. That's a total pick'em. I couldn't put a call on that one. And then we've got Glover Teixeira versus Misha Cirkunov. Again, pretty good fight. Light heavyweight, which I like the cards that are heavier weight focused because, you see a lot of slugging. So Glover Teixeira, number 3, versus Misha Cirkunov, number 7. We all know about Glover. He's had a lot of, top contender fights, title eliminators, so forth. Recently lost Alexander Gustafsson in May of last year. Prior to that, it beat Jared Cannonier, as we just mentioned. He lost in that vicious uppercut knockout to Rumble. So he's always going to been a top contender, taking a few losses here and there, but he's always good for a good stand and bang fight. Misha Cirkunov, very well-rounded, pretty explosive, younger, but beyond that, everything else is virtually identical. But I'm going to take Misha Cirkunov on this one. Like I said, he's a little younger, and I just don't think he has taken quite the abuse and the punches that Glover has taken. So I'm giving this one to Misha. And the next big fight, huge one, Ponzinibbio versus Platinum Mike Perry. I'm going to go with Mike Perry on this one, even though Ponzinibbio is number 10. Mike Perry, great striker, very brash, good talker. He is on the way up, and I just think he's got something special right now. I'm looking forward to that, but I'm going with Mike Perry. Ricardo Lamas, he's taking on Josh Emmett. To me, for the co-headline, second fight, I see Ricardo Lamas kind of working through this one pretty easy. I mean, he's number 3 for a reason in the 145 division. So I see him coming through, winning that one. I'm going to say TKO in the second. But I've got Ricardo Lamas now. And then our headliner, Robbie Lawler, Ruthless Robbie versus Rafael Dos Anjos. Number 2 versus number 4. Can RDS stand and bang with Robbie for 5 rounds? I don't know. I would say no. Few people can, the way Robbie punches. But Robbie's been through some wars, man. Whether it's Carlos Condit, whether it's Johnny Hendricks, the Rory McDonald fights. He's been through some wars. And I think maybe Dos Anjos just has a little bit more left in the tank than Robbie Lawler. I mean, they're both of similar age. Robbie's 2 years older at 35. But, I just don't know that Robbie's got enough left in the tank, and I think RDS throws enough kicks that he's gonna be able to neutralize a lot of that game, and I'm taking Dos Anjos TKO in 3 rounds in this one. So surprising to call Lawler losing by finish, but that's what I got. That's what you got from me. So again, it's going to be a good card. I think Joel and I might do a full podcast tonight and discuss this more. But in the meantime, hope you guys have a great Christmas. If I don't talk to you again, this is Brother Sin. We're out.